Hey guys, so there's probably been a bit of jump in progress. It's been a few months since the last video was uploaded. So it was great to get it running. Now the plan, well, I spotted a little bit of rust at the front of one of the sills. Obviously that would need doing for MOT purposes. So I thought I'll just whip the wing off and basically found quite a lot of rust underneath. Now one side wasn't too bad. Managed to just cut a couple of patches in, repaint it, done. And then I took the other side off and I was like, whoa, and this is what I found. So yeah, it wasn't brilliant. So that has taken me a fair amount of time because, as you can imagine, there's a few different layers to build that structure back up, because obviously it's quite important tying in the A-post to the whole front end. It's quite a structural piece, although I don't know if it would fail an MOT for that, don't know. But anyway, I wanted to do it because it's quite important. A couple of little bits here and there, a couple of bits on the sill itself, and a couple of little bits at the back of the, well, at the B-post on the driver's side. So there was a couple of bits here, it was just rusted through when where it's double layered here. So I carried this bit on underneath, then put this bit on top. Then there's also a couple of bits in here that were rusted out, and then a sort of corner here which I've just tied in to everything. And it's just a case of a couple of little rusty bits that I've just rust treated, a couple of little bits up there. But you know, I've been on and off welding this for a good couple of months now. Obviously, I'm not up here every day, so it's evening and weekend type things, and I've been busy at home as well. So I haven't been up here as much as I would like. Therefore, not much has happened, hence why there hasn't really been an upload. But yeah, just thought I'd update what's going on with everything. So now I've finished the welding, so it's back onto the bolting on interesting stuff, because I would like to get it up and running, drive around the yard sort of thing as soon as possible, really. So like I say, now the wings are back on, all good. It's all wax oiled up underneath. You can't, annoyingly, it's all underneath the arch liner anyway, but that's all good now. So I can, like I say, put the wing back on and go on to the sort of bolting on bits, the more fun stuff. So that brings me on to the brake kit that I have. So now I've basically converted to the car style hubs, which are completely different, because the van hubs, the disc is behind the actual drive flange. So every time you change the disc, you got to take the drive flange out, which basically ruins the bearing every time. So you got to change the bearing every time, and there's no upgrades for it. Now back in the 90s, there's a company called Progress Aero Works, I think PAW basically shortened. They made this kit for Maestros, Montegos back in the, I don't know, 90s, I guess, 80s, 90s. And basically what it does is, it, using this bracket here, it pushes the caliper out, and then what you use is a Golf G60 brake disc, which is 280mm, which I conveniently have here. So the old ones were about, I don't know, 240mm, but they were solid. This also converts it to vented disc. So what I had to do was find the car hub, knuckle, drive flange, and also the caliper, because it physically, the caliper's the same size as the solid disc one, but it's physically, the jaws are wider. Hence, you know, obviously because the whole disc is wider, being double thickness. So I managed to source those from a guy near me who also has a van, but he's converted it to turbo diesel, which was from a basically rotted out Montego estate, Countryman, I believe. But because it's a turbo diesel, only the turbo diesel and the MG Maestro Montego models had the vented disc caliper setup. So I had to get that from, luckily I got that from him. Caliper's cleaned up all right. Like I say, hubs cleaned up, new bearings. And then what I'm doing, because the van PCD is 4x114, and the car is like 95 point something. It's an awful fitment, no wheels fit it basically. Luckily, the wheels that I have are, you know, they're just cheap sort of alloys, but they're multi-fit ones. Therefore, I can keep the 4x114 at the back. And what I did was I got one of the guys at work is an engineer, and he basically pressed out the studs from the old location, re-drilled it to 4x100, which is perfect because the discs are already 4x100. So back in the day, if you had a Maestro, you'd get this re-drilled to the Maestro PCD. But I'd got the actual drive flange itself re-drilled. Therefore, you know, you don't generally need to change a drive flange, but obviously discs you will change. So I can just buy these off the shelf, no worries, put new ones on. And it works with the multi-fit wheels because they are 4x114 and 4x100. So I can keep the same wheels, and I've got the brake upgrade I want for the extra stock and power I need for the engine. So I've just chucked the CV joint on with a new boot. The clips that come with this are they're just a bit rubbish. I'm not sure if because this is just the standard CV joint for a normal Maestro and the turbo drive shafts are just a little bit bigger, so the clips just don't really fit. You've got to really struggle to get them on, and they just look like they're just going to come off. So I might have to put some metal cable ties on at some point, but that's fine. I'll check that. And like that one, I could not get that one on at all. So probably get some metal cable ties or something. I think you can get universal ones of these, but that can be done whenever. So yeah, so chuck that on. Then basically what you do is you get the whole hub assembly here, and then it's this bracket which has been nicely machined by PAW. So it bolts through the original caliper holes onto this bracket. So you've got to bolt that on and make sure that's done up properly. So, almost forgot. You need obviously the coilover in there because that's where the where it joins onto. So just chuck that in there quickly. Now I can join it all together. So obviously CV joint goes in the middle, the bottom bit goes on the ball joint, top bit goes in the coilover there, and then that all ties it all together. So just bear with me because our camera stand broke, so it's going to be a ta-da, ready, ta-da, just like that, boom. So that's all connected now, you can see. Chuck the one in there, and then it's just sat on the ball joint at the moment. So what I do actually need to do, which I've just forgotten, is stick the brake shield on. Oh yeah, because it goes actually through those two. So you stick the brake shield on, then I can start bolting it all up. Cool, there you have it. So the original caliper bolts bolt to the bracket, and then the bracket's got these extra ears here to give it more strength and rigidity. That basically one goes through one of the bolts for the coilovers, which goes straight through the knuckle sort of hub assembly itself, and the other one goes through the ball joint and into it. And there's some nicely machined spaces. It'll be quite difficult to see, but nice spaces there, and then there's another one up in between there. Nice machined, you know, precise fit. So now that all the bolts through there, I can do all those up, and then it's just a case of bolting the caliper on in these holes now. The carrier and the caliper, putting the disc on, job's a good one. So the other neat feature about this kit is it comes with basically a disc centering ring. So that takes the hub size of the Maestro Montego out to the inner hub size of the disc. So that basically centers the disc to the hub perfectly. And then when I put the wheels on, I can just get hub centric spacers for the actual Maestro or Montego fitment hub. But it's just a nice little touch. Obviously it's an important thing as well. So now we can put the disc on. Boom, and then it sits perfectly there in the middle. Looks fucking lovely. So then it was just a case of chucking in some pads. I bought these off eBay, so they're a new old stock or barely used set of pads. Now they're supposed to be EBC yellow stuff ones, or that's what they were in the picture. However, the ones that came didn't actually have any markings on them, so I am slightly dubious to see if they are yellow stuffs. Admittedly as well, they aren't yellow, but I think they're quite old, and like I say, the ones in the picture were black but said yellow stuff on them. The ones that turned up were just black and pretty plain. So I don't know if there's a way if you can tell on the actual compound itself by looking at it, but they were the same cost as a set of pads, so I thought why not take the gamble. Yeah, so chuck them in. Caliper's now on, so that's it, looking sweet. Turns around lovely. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Nice little kit. You see, all bolted on there, through there. I've obviously get some new hoses. Got a new bleed nipple. You know, these calipers have been sat around a while, but you know, the pistons move nice and freely. The seals look good. They're old rubber with probably the decent harmful chemicals, so hopefully the rubber actually lasts, like new rubber, which perishes in about 5 minutes. So I figured you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'd rather keep the old rubber, which should last longer than the new stuff that's made in China nowadays. Like I say, they were sat in a field for a long time, and I've thought there was no hope of getting the bleed nipples undone, especially the other side. There was literally no nut left on it. But yeah, pair of mole grips and it cracked straight off. So got some new bleed nipples. Need to get some hoses. And then I can bleed up the brake system. Also, I don't know if you remember from the previous videos when I took the servo off and obviously the brake master cylinder, the seals were gone, so it was basically leaking into the servo, and also the servo had rusted out. So I managed to get a seal kit for the master cylinder because I believe you couldn't get them, or they were quite expensive. The thing you definitely can't get is a new servo for a Maestro. They just are not existent. There's some for sale in foreign countries, but they're like 350 quid, and it's like, that's ridiculous. So I couldn't find one for sale either. So what I did is basically took it apart, welded up the rusty bit. It was on the back. What I figured is it used to work fine, and I'm assuming it would have had a hole in it then. So I just basically did a quick repair on the back, nothing special. Welded it up, you can't see it anyway. Put it back together again, so hopefully it still works, stuff. But yeah, so brake, servo, master cylinder's on. I obviously haven't tested it, so fingers crossed it works. Otherwise I'm pretty stuffed because you can't get a new one, so I'd have to search and find something, or adapt something else to fit. But we'll cross that bridge if and when we get to it. So that was just another update. So I've got one brake pipe to make on the driver's side. I believe that one was a bit crusty, hardline that is. Then I just need to get the flexibles and put all the pipes back on, you know, the ones in the engine bay are fine, and check the rears as well, because I'm not sure if I need to get a full kit or not. And also I can't remember if the van ones are the same as the car ones at the back, because you can get braided kits, but for some reason they don't do the standard rubber ones at all, so which is a bit weird. Pretty happy with the hub situation. That's all on there. I can just obviously chuck the steering rack on, and then that's it. So it's technically now I could put wheels on it and drive it technically. So I've got a couple of things I want to redo, some of the fuel pipes, and put the tank in, and then it should technically drive. So hopefully what I want in the next episode would be to get it actually driving around the yard is the plan. So like I said, I've got a couple of little bits. I am going to just have a quick look at the rear arch area while I'm here. I think it's pretty good, because I did do some bits and pieces a couple of years ago, and it doesn't look bad, but then you saw what underneath the front arches arches and wings were like. So who knows? But you know, while I'm here, I'd just rather just look, because I don't want to. The last thing I want to do is turn up to the MOT station, and then they're like, "What are you doing? This is rough as." You know, I'd rather do it now while it's up in the air, while it's in the unit. I'd rather just have a look now. So I'll have a quick look around the rear arches and stuff. Also, I'll re-wax all it, that sort of thing. Then, yeah, fuel system, brake system. Go for a drive. Yeehaw. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I know it was probably quite a short one. Ben he's had an operation on his elbow because he fell off on his bike like a silly boy a long time ago, and he's only just getting his elbow is messed up, so he's just getting that operated. So he's not going to be up the unit for a while. He hasn't been up for the last few weeks. But yeah, make sure you say get well soon to Ben down in the comments, you know. But yeah, that's it for this one. As I say, next one, go for a spin around the yard in the van is the plan, but we'll see. All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that jazz. Cheers, guys. Bye. So the other neat feature